Hi, you guys. Welcome back. So I have another pickle video for you guys. I have a lot of them coming up, just so you know, just to be forewarned, lots of pickles. So I had a really good season of cucumbers growing in my garden. So today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to make these amazing scrumptious dill pickles. These need to sit for at least 24 hours, maybe a little longer. Of course, the longer you let them sit, the better they're going to be. So today, that's what I'm going to show you guys is how to make these. My video's already been done. Like, I recorded that part of it earlier, but I didn't want to do the beginning or the ending until they were ready. So for now, enjoy the video and see how to make these awesome little dill pickles. And I will see you at the end. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is get my jars ready. So they've already been washed in the dishwasher, and now I'm going to put them in a cold oven. And I'm going to heat the oven and the jars together up to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm also putting the lids in the oven. You don't have to. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just take all the lids and I throw them into a pot with some boiling water and let it sit on the stove while I'm doing all of this. All right, so get your jars ready into the oven so they are nice and hot when everything else is ready. All right, so now in a pot, a large pot on your stove, mix together 3 cups of pickling vinegar with 3 cups of water. If you want it less tart, less vinegary, do an extra cup of water. So 4 cups of water instead of 3. Mix it with a 1/4 cup of pickling salt and a 1/3 cup of sugar. Also, if you want them just a little bit sweeter, add a little bit more sugar. I don't recommend adding more salt, but a little bit more sugar is fine. All right, mix that all up, and you're going to let this come to a boil. Simmer. Let's go with simmer. All right. You will probably have to make this a couple times, so you might want to double the recipe if you have a lot of jars to fill. All right. So while you're waiting for the brine to come to a boil or a simmer, you're going to get all your cucumbers ready. You can do whatever type of cucumber you want, you can cut them however you want. I am going to cut them into rounds. I'm going to chop them into like little quarter-size pieces. I'm going to do some in slices. So they're, my husband calls them dill pickle spears. I'm just going to cut them up into all different shapes and sizes for different size jars. So cut them up however you'd like. And then you're going to take all of them and you're going to put them into some lukewarm water just so that they're a little bit warm when you go to pour the brine on them. All right, you guys, I have a little video inside of this video for you. I have all these wonderful green beans that I picked in my garden, and there's too many of them for us to eat. So I am going to show you guys how to turn them into pickled beans. Since I'm already making the brine, I figured it's a good use of it. My husband also says pickled beans are amazing in a Caesar. No, not a Caesar salad, a Caesar drink. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. I've already washed all the beans. I'm going to chop off the ends, both ends of the beans, and then I'm going to put them in a bowl of warm water, just like I did with the cucumbers. And they're going to just sit in there until I'm ready to actually put them in all the jars. All right, so this is all the fresh dill that I'm going to be using in my dill pickles. It's from my garden. And I also picked my only orange pepper that was growing in my 2 green peppers. I took the cucumbers and I drained them so that they're easier to work with right now. And I'm only going to work with 1 to maybe 2 jars at a time as I do this. So in your jar, you're going to put a few peppercorns and a little bit of mustard seed into it and some fresh dill. I'm only using maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon of the peppercorns and 1/8 of a teaspoon of mustard seed. I have no way of measuring how much dill I'm putting in. I'm just stuffing in fresh dill. Now you can use as much or as little of the peppercorn and the mustard seed as you want. I wouldn't go too crazy because it could get overpowering, so I would say use it sparingly. All right, so once you have those in, you're going to stuff your jar with your cucumbers and layer it with your fresh dill. If you do not have fresh dill, that's totally fine. You could use some dill seed or some dried dill weed if you want instead. It's totally fine. You can substitute it. It's still going to have the dill taste. Once your jar is ready, you're going to fill it with your brine that you have boiling on the stove, well, simmering now. And it's not going to completely fill your jar. Your cucumbers will probably still be sticking up just a little bit, and that's okay because they will sink down a little bit as they settle. So if you get anything on the rim of your jar, make sure you wipe it off, put your hot lid on top of it, and then put the ring on. And you're going to tighten it enough that you can pick it up and give it a shake. It doesn't have to be super tight. You're going to shake the jar just a little bit to mix in the peppercorns and the mustard seed just to get them throughout the jar. And there you go. You have made your first jar of dill pickles. Now, depending on the size of jars you're using, you're going to have to adjust how much peppercorn and mustard seed and dill you're putting into it. So like this one, I'm using a really, really big jar. So I'm going to layer it. I put in some cucumbers, just a couple peppercorns, a little bit of mustard seed, and some dill, and then layer it with more cucumbers and just keep doing that until the jar is full. But the mustard seed and peppercorns, I'm only putting in a tiny little bit. Like the peppercorns, it's like 8 peppercorns if you were to count them. And the mustard seed is about 1/8 of a teaspoon, maybe a little less each time. And, well, the fresh dill, I don't know. I just stuff it all in. Anyway, and then fill it up with your brine, same as before. Wipe off the edge of your jar if you get anything on it. Put the lid on, put the ring of the lid on, give it all a shake, and then it's all done. Set it on your counter, leave them overnight, and they will cool. And as they cool, you'll hear the lids all popping, which means they are all sealing and becoming shelf stable. So that's it, okay? Just wanted to give you that small jar versus a big jar and how much to use in each when it comes to your spices. All right, back to the pickled beans. So I'm using about medium-sized jars. I think they're around 500 milliliters. And the beans that I had cut were a little bit too long for these jars, so I had to trim them a little bit and make them a little smaller. So you might want to measure your beans and your jars to make sure they're going to fit. Okay, so take all of the beans, stuff them into the jars, stuff them in as much as you can, pack them in there. You do not have to add any spices if you do not want to, but I'm going to add just a couple of peppercorns to each of them. And then I'm going to fill them with the exact same brine that I'm using in the dill pickles. And that's because the brine it's not universal, but it can have multiple uses when you're pickling things because it's only water, vinegar, salt, and sugar. There's no spices in it. So I'm going to pour the brine into both of these, add a couple little peppercorns, put the lids on, give them a shake, and then they're done. I have just made pickled beans. I'm going to set them on the counter, leave them overnight to cool, and let the lids pop and seal, and then they will be shelf stable, and I'll put them in my pantry until we're ready to eat them. All right, so like I said at the beginning of this video, I did not want to do a beginning or an ending to the video until after the dill pickles were made. And I did that because they needed to sit for at least 24 hours, 48 hours, the longer the better. So now that they've sat for quite a while, probably a good 48 hours or more, I decided to finally make the beginning and ending of my video. So here they are, and I have already tried a couple of them. They are really, really good. They are very, they're very tangy, which is fantastic. They have a really strong vinegar and dill flavor. Like, it's a good combination of both. I really like it. I'm not a huge dill pickle fan, except when it comes to like dill pickle chips, dill pickle salad. I think it's more the flavor that I like, not necessarily the pickles. But these turned out really, really well. I love it. I love how they turned out. While I was making them, my measurements were all over the place, and I had to keep making batches of the brine slowly. I would do a little batch, fill up the jars, make some more, fill up the jars, and it took me a lot longer than expected. I have never made dill pickles before, so this was trial and error for me. I did not have a recipe that I was following. I was just kind of winging it, see how they would turn out. They did turn out fantastic. I used fresh dill from my garden in it, which is awesome. I'm so glad I figured out how to use it and was able to use it. I've never used fresh dill before. Pickles from my garden. So this makes me really happy. It's all like homegrown. All right. So this turned out awesome. I'm hoping in a future, probably a short video, like one of those YouTube shorts or TikToks, something like that, I am going to do a dill pickle dip once this jar is almost gone. I will chop up some of the dill pickles, really, really little, and some fresh dill, probably dried dill, and use the dill pickle juice, and I'm going to make a dip. But that's coming later, probably much later. All right, so that is it for today's video. Oh, and I forgot, I put in just a little extra in that video. I did some pickled beans. That's because I had a whole bunch of beans that I was not going to eat right away. And my husband's like, oh, just pickle them. Pickle the beans. So I pickled them. He can enjoy them in some Caesars later. I have no idea how they turned out. I haven't opened a jar to try it, but I'm assuming they turned out fantastic as well. All right. So that's it today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. Do all that wonderful stuff. Share my videos. You guys, I am really, really close to reaching 1,000 subscribers. And that is all thanks to you guys for helping me grow. I am so close. I'm like, I don't know, like 90 something, maybe like 87 subscribers away from reaching 1,000. That is fantastic. I've worked so hard on all my videos. And it's thanks to you guys for sharing them and helping me grow. So thank you for that. Keep going. I can do this. We can reach 1,000 together. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys for my next video.